For those of you that have been using LeadFerret for a while, I'm sure you've noticed that there's a new look for the site overall. The new search interface is definitely not just a new look, but has a lot of new features as well. So one of the things that we did in large part as a result of overwhelming requests from our clients is we actually made it so that you could hide or show the search panel. So when you're running a search, if you really just want to look at the results after you've put in your criteria, the search panel is automatically hidden. You can, of course, expand it at any time if you want to go in and further modify your search criteria. Like with the old site, you have a lot of fields to choose from. We've added a lot of instructions or helping text along with each search field. If you hover over any of these question marks, it'll give you details as to what that particular search field is all about, tips on how to use it, etc. So you can run searches by title, including any string that you might find within a title, at the beginning of a title, at the end of a title. You can also exclude any string that you want. So if you had a particular string you want to exclude that, you can actually exclude a particular title. For example, a lot of people want to say run a search for marketing titles, but maybe they want to exclude anybody that also has the word sales in their title. You could select marketing as I have here and then select exclude sales. Just one trick to sort of further narrow down your search criteria. As you'll see here on the the selected search filters, anytime I make a change on the right, these dynamically adjust to whatever my search criteria I've entered. So in this case, I'm searching for marketing titles, manager and director level. I could also search for a specific contact. There are a lot of different ways to use LeadFerret. One of them is to search for types of people that you want to target, market to, cold call, email, etc. Another is you can actually use it to find individual people. So you could actually put in an individual person's name and or information on their company to find an individual person. That's one way that people use the site. As you enter this criteria, it dynamically adjusts here on the left, which is very helpful once the search panel collapses after you run your search. So you can see if I uncheck manager here, it's removed from the search panel on the left. If I check it again, it's added. I can also go over to this panel on the left and remove it from there. All the departments and professions that we had previously are still there, easily searchable. You can check on any of the boxes. Also, again, we've added these tips that will explain to you how each of these sort of prepackaged department or profession searches is created, what it includes, etc. You can search by devices used. So this is whether people use Android, Windows, or Apple devices to access the internet and email. One of my favorite search tools is the social media links tool, and this basically allows you to search for records where we have that social media link or links available. So in this case, I've said only show me results with at least one social media link. So that'll show me only results where there's a Facebook, Twitter, or a LinkedIn link available. At the company level, we also can search for records that have Foursquare, Yelp, TripAdvisor, or Facebook pages available. And this actually is a section that we're working on expanding. We'll be adding Google Plus and some other social networks soon. As I select or deselect criteria over here, it updates over here on the left. You can search by a variety of company-specific fields, including company name, the county, not to be confused with country. All of the records in LeadFerret, pretty much all of them are in the U.S., so we don't have a country search field, but you can actually search by a particular county, which is oftentimes useful for people who do a lot of local marketing. You can search for domain, which can be very helpful in a lot of ways. For example, if you want just education.edu would be a good way. Of course, there are other ways to search for education, but that's one way that you could do it. Phone, city, zip code. One thing that's really useful with zip code is if you want sort of, say, the whole West Coast, you could search for any zip code that starts with 9. Or if you want more specifically, say, Northern California, you could say, or the Bay Area, you could say, give me any zip code that starts with 94. Of course, you can search by revenue and employees, a minimum and maximum value. If you want, say, companies with over 100 million, and this is in millions, over 100 million in annual revenue, you would just put minimum is 100 and leave the maximum blank. If you do use revenue and employee fields together, that will actually, it becomes an and statement, if that makes sense. So in other words, the records that you are return will be required to meet both criteria. Alexa ranking, we track the approximately top 100,000 sites based on Alexa rankings, and you can actually search for that. So you can not only search for a company by size, but roughly by the traffic to their site according to their Alexa ranking. So if you want only companies who own the top 100 websites, you would say Alexa ranking 1 to 100, and that's going to get you only the big, Google, Yahoo, the top that are ranked in the top 100 in traffic. Fortune 1000 ranking works very similar. You could put in 1 to 100 or 1 to 500 or 500 to 1,000 to get the top rankings, top companies based on Fortune 1000 ranking, which is roughly based on revenue. Industries, you can search for by SIC or NAICS codes, and we do have these handy lookup tools which will allow you to actually look up the SIC code that best matches the type of industry you're looking for. If you don't know the SIC code, you can use anywhere from 1 to 8 digits. So if you want, for example, all of, say, transportation, communications, electric, gas, sanitary services, you could just put in an SIC code of 4, and that will give you all SIC codes that start with 4. And you can go up to 8 digits doing the same thing. This is a really cool tool, which I'm going to show you in a second. The zip code radius tool is great for geographic targeting. You can put in the zip code of your office, for example, and then say I want everything within 10 miles of that, which is a really cool tool. I'm going to show you that in a second. And then the last panel here that I want to go over is what we call other, which is includes things like how do you want to sort the data. You can sort by a variety of fields on search. You can, of course, sort by clicking down here after the search is done, but actually when you run your search, you can do that. Quality score, this is a really cool tool. If you want to know more about that, I definitely recommend you read this little pop-up tooltip that I'm hovering over now, but it basically allows you to adjust your results based on the quality score that they have been given, which is based on the recency and frequency of verification tests that the record has passed. So if you want really only the best of the best records, you can slide this up to, say, 90, and that's going to give you fewer records but of much higher quality. If you want more records and you realize that some of them may not have been recently verified, you could slide it down to, say, 20 or 25. I recommend usually around 50 to 60 as a good starting point. I think it defaults to 50. Some other very useful tools that we've added, you can now exclude targeted contacts, contacts you've already downloaded or contacts you've transferred to Sales Nexus from your search results. That's really useful. I will get into each of those things in a little more detail in a second. Basically, your target contacts is sort of like your shopping cart. It allows you to set records aside to be viewed or downloaded at a later date, and you can actually exclude records that you've sort of already set aside. And of course, your downloads is records you've actually used points to download to spreadsheet. And then transferring to Sales Nexus, that's an email marketing and CRM partner of ours that we have an API that allows you to transfer records directly over to their solution. I'm not going to go into that in a lot of detail other than just stating that that's what it is. Another very useful tool that we've added is the Only Include feature, which allows you to select the same types of records but to only search within those. So if you really just want to search within records you've already targeted, for example, I have hundreds of thousands of records because I'm always testing the site that I've targeted, and now if I want to just search within the records I've targeted instead of the entire database, I can simply check this box. If I want to search only within records I've already downloaded, I can check this box. So I could say, give me only records that I've already downloaded that are in the state of Alabama, and I would check this and then select Alabama for the state. Now, this last feature over here, the direct dials feature, is something that is only available to our premium users, but it basically allows you to identify only records that have been confirmed as direct dial phone numbers. If you make a lot of phone calls every day, you know that that's very, very valuable information. as well as the company phone verified. So essentially we test the phone numbers and we find out, is it a direct dial to the person's desk or does it go to the switchboard? And if you check this box, you'll get only phone numbers that go directly to the person's desk. And if you check this box, you'll get phone numbers that go to this main switchboard. You can search by year founded. If you're looking for companies that are very well established, you could say companies founded from, say, 1900 to 1980, or you can do the inverse and look for startup companies, which a lot of people like to market to, say companies founded from 2011 to 2013 might be one way to do that. A pretty useful tool. I want to show you actually one more thing in the search panel. You can also, if you find the search panels a little overwhelming and you'd like to better sort of visually differentiate one panel from search, or one area within the search panel from another, you can turn on this feature, the color filters. And what that does is it actually applies a color to the header of each section and illuminates the search filters that have been selected in the same colors by category over here on the left. For some people it's a little overwhelming, all the colors, that's why we allow you to turn it off and on, but for other people it's very useful. Okay, so now down to the actual results. We made a lot of changes here as well, and I'm just going to start kind of top to bottom here. You can of course go through and select individual records that you'd like to add to your target contact list, which I'll go over in a second, and then you can simply say target selected. Now over here you'll see this column that says target, and if it's lit up in red, that means I have in fact already targeted it. If it's gray, that means I have not targeted. So let me select these two records that I have not previously targeted and click target selected, and that will now you see those have changed to red, and those two records have actually been added to my target contact list. You can also, and this is for our premium members as well, you can target a large number of records all at once. So you can see that this search brought back 17,795 results, and I could check this box here, which will select all the records on the page, and I could say target selected. Well, that's going to target the first 50 records, but what if I really want to target, say, the first 5,000 records in the search result? You can simply type 5,000 into this, target first 5,000 records, click the target this button, and it will add all the first 5,000 records to your target contact list. Very useful feature, again, available to our premium users. I can also untarget selected, so I can select the first 10 records or any combination thereof and say I want to untarget those, and you'll notice over here now the target button has gone from red to gray, and that actually removes those records from my target contact list as well. Okay. So really useful feature as well. And I can also do the same thing with downloading. So I can check all the records, download selected. It's going to download all those to spreadsheet. If I have enough points, of course, I can also download the first, again, let's say that I really want the first 5,000 records. I can say download first 5,000 records, click that. Of course, I'll need 5,000 points, and I'll go over how to earn or buy points in a moment. But if you have the points to download records, you would need 5,000 points to download the first 5,000 records from the 17,000 search results. And then transferring Sales Nexus works the same way. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. So very useful tools. Again, some of them available only to our premium members, but even the basic tools that are available to all our free members are very useful. Another really cool tool that we've added is the ability to basically share your search results. So as we covered, I've searched here for directors, managers of marketing that have at least one social media link in the state of California and have a quality score of 58 or higher. And I've got 17,000 results. Now, I may have a partner or a client or a colleague that I want to share these results with. Say, hey, I think this is a great list. We should acquire this data, or this could be the basis for our upcoming campaign, etc. And you can simply take this link and email it to them, tweet it to them, post it on Facebook, post it on Google Plus or on LinkedIn, and they'll be able to click on this link and load the exact same search results that you that we're looking at now. So it's a very easy way to share any search, and we certainly, of course, appreciate the publicity. If you decide you want to tweet this, if you simply click on this button, you can edit this, of course, and say whatever you want, but you can say, check out my search results on LeadFerret, access 15 million B2B contacts with email plus social plus more, and then it appends the link for your particular search. So you're helping us promote the site, which we appreciate, and you're also sharing the particular search results that you've run. We've had a lot of people, run very detailed or in-depth searches. They then share with colleagues, and again, that's appreciated. Okay, so now into the actual search results themselves. Of course, what we're looking at here is a summary of the results, and by clicking on any name, you can, of course, drill into the actual details for that contact. Okay, so I wanted to actually show you one more thing on the search panel that I had mentioned, which is the search by zip code radius. So here I've searched from our neighborhood, a 10-mile radius in Southern California. It shows me visually on the map the records, the cities and the areas that will be included within my search, and then of course all the records are below. So you can see I searched a 10-mile radius from this area from this zip code, and here are all my results. And again, I can click on the details for any one of these contacts and drill down and see all of the details for this record. All the company information is in this top box, and the contact-specific information is in this lower box. The name of the company, address, city, state, zip, phone number, the company domain, which is commonly used for email and or website, revenue, number of employees, the SIC code they fall under, and if they have any social media links available at the company level, these will be lit up as well, and you can click on those to view those specific pages. And then there's the contact information, title, direct phone number, their name, their email address, and then the quality score. Of course, this has a quality score of 97, which means we have a relatively high level of confidence in that record. I can click on these links, and it will load the actual Facebook and LinkedIn page for this person. See, there she is, Kendra Hathaway, and it looks like maybe she's been married, or this is either her maiden name or her new name. You can see her Facebook page as well as her LinkedIn page by clicking on these, and that's available for a lot of the records in our database. In fact, the majority of them have at least one social media link now. While I'm looking at this company, I can also click over and see other contacts within the company by clicking the Contacts tab. I can actually load. So you see I clicked on Mike here and was able to load his data into a new tab here, and you'll see it's colored green. It's a new tab. I can also close that tab. But all the same type of information available for Mike that was available for Kendra, and I can look at all the contacts, any or all of the contacts within that company, and see all the detailed information. It's really cool once you find a contact that you're interested in to be able to see all the other contacts within that same company. I can close these tabs out, and I can also, this is a relatively new feature, I can add comments within a given contact, and I can make those comments private to only me, so only I will see them when I come back. So you can almost use it a little bit like a CRM or contact management solution. I know we have a lot of clients who just basically give their reps a search on LeadFerret and say, here's your call list. Start calling, and they're actually able to leave private comments that are only available to them. They can also leave public comments, which after a review on our end are then available for anybody to see publicly. And they can, of course, leave admin comments, which basically just sends a comment to us. If you find a record that has some erroneous information or you have an update or something, you can do that through here. And that will alert us to the fact that that record needs to be adjusted, or any comment relative to the record. You can, of course, view the record on a map. So you can see the specific location for that contact on a map. Now back to the details. And again, I showed you that you can click over to their social media profiles. So that's the detailed view. You can actually open multiple records into a detailed view. Again, just an effort on our part to make it more user-friendly and make it more really of a sales and prospecting tool. Okay, so I mentioned that the records are sorted by default by quality score, but you can sort them upon search using this tool, or you can sort them at any point by simply clicking on the header. Back over here to the right where you see the target, you can not only check this box and say I want to target the selected record, but you can these icons on the right here are not only indicators as to whether the record is targeted or not, but they're actually buttons as well. So I can click on a record and target and untarget it individually. Just allows me to target and untarget records in fewer steps, fewer clicks. I can download a record to a CSV file, and actually what this does, because it would be somewhat painful and arduous to download an individual record into an individual CSV file and then one more individual record. What this does is it actually adds it to a collective spreadsheet that you can then download when you're done. So I can say, you know, add this record to my spreadsheet, and then I can add another record to my spreadsheet. And those will be added to the spreadsheet, which I can download later, and I'll show you in a second how that works. Now, if I do want to download just an individual contact, I can actually click on this Get vCard icon here, and that will actually download the record, just that one record, to a vCard, which then is, for those of you who are not familiar with vCards, that's just a sort of like an electronic business card that you can then import into Outlook, or you can send to a colleague through email, something like that. And again, you need one point for each record that you want to download, or via spreadsheet or vCard, and of course targeting contacts does not cost you any points. Let's say I select a bunch of records and I want to download them, and I'm sure those of you who have not done this yet are really wondering, okay, well, what exactly do I get when I download the records? So here's a spreadsheet that I've downloaded already, and you'll see it includes a lot of information, basically all the information available on our site. So you have the date and time that you downloaded the records. You have the first name, last name, title, their company, address, city, state, zip, so all the physical address if you want to send direct mail, or if you want to know where they're geographically located, as well as their phone number if you want to call them. Of course, email addresses for all records. That's right, that you actually get this spreadsheet when you use points to download records, their revenue, employees, the domain, the quality score for that record, their LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter profiles when available, the year they were founded, SIC and NAICS codes. They're just a written description of their industry, as well as their longitude and latitude. So you get all of this information when you download records using points. So how exactly do you get points? You can either earn them, and there's actually a tab up here called Earn Points, which I'll open real quick, and it goes through all the different ways that you can essentially help us promote the site, especially the new site. We really would appreciate anything that our users do to help promote the site, and we reward you essentially by giving you points when you do promote the site. So this gives you all the instructions and everything you need to know about how to promote LeadFerret and earn points as a result. And of course, one of the main things that we see most people earning free points from is by inviting others. So we have this very easy tool that we've built for you where you can simply cut and paste in or type in one or more email addresses, either one per line or comma delimited, and send an invite to friends and colleagues, and that will automatically be tracked so that when they sign up for a free account, not a premium, you're actually rewarded with 50 points for everyone that does. The other thing you can do is you can actually sign up for a premium service, which is $20, $40, or $60 a month. You get 200, 500, or 800 points respectively, which allows you to download the same number of records to spreadsheet. Those points never expire, roll over forever. Even if you at some point need to cancel or put a hold on your premium subscription. And then once you do have a premium subscription, you can actually purchase points on an ad hoc basis as well. So let's say you're getting 200 points a month, but one month you want to run a big campaign and you need 10,000 records. You can purchase those on a one-time purchase once you have a subscription. We do require that you have a subscription first. Okay, so we covered that. So the next thing I want to do is once you do target contacts, what does that actually mean, and what can you do with those targeted contacts? So let me jump over to a target contact page. By the way, if anybody's wondering why on some of these screens some records showed up in orange, those are records that have been transferred to Sales Nexus. So you're able to visually see. Of course, you can say include or exclude records that have been transferred to Sales Nexus by checking here, but you are able to visually see which records have been transferred as well. It's a feature that a lot of our users were requesting that also use Sales Nexus. Well, there is actually one other thing that I wanted to cover real quick on the search page before we jump over to the target contacts page. So let's say I've run this search, directors, managers, marketing, at least one social media contact in California. I've got this link, obviously, that I can send to colleagues, partners, clients, etc., to share the results. But let's say I want to actually just save it for myself for future use. I can actually say, save this for myself. I'll just call this like marketing, CA, this is in California, director or manager. And I can save the search. It says it's successfully saved my search. And then if I ever want to reload that, I can simply go here and load or even rename or delete that saved search. It's a really handy tool. You can see I've got quite a few saved searches here, and definitely a way to sort of manage these searches, especially if you've got multiple territories, multiple different targets, industries that you target. Really definitely recommend using the saved search tool to sort of catalog those different industries or types of targets you want to go after, or even different call lists for different reps that you might be managing. Also, you don't have to save every search to recall it. You can actually recall a search simply based on your search history using the search history tool here, which allows you to recall it based on a date and time. And you can actually even go in, find a search that you ran on a date and time, and give it a name and save it. And then what that's actually going to do is it's going to move that search from your search history up to your saved searches. So now you'll see that whatever that search was is now part of my saved searches. So between search history and saved searches, you can keep a very good catalog of everything that you've searched for, manage it, etc. And that's really what the new LeadFerret site is all about, is giving you more power of management over the data to find the records that you want, search for them, and then keep track of your different call lists, email lists, campaign lists, direct mail lists, whatever it is that you're using the data for. Okay, I want to now jump over to the our target contacts page, which you go up here to dashboard and you say, let's take a look at my target contacts. Again, I think I mentioned previously, this is sort of like a shopping cart for records, and it basically is, and I've got quite a few, so this is going to take a second to load, but it basically is records that I've set aside, but I don't want to use any points to download them. As you can see, I have 168,000, but I don't want to pay or use points to download them quite yet, but I do want to set them aside for maybe downloading or transferring to Sales Nexus in the future. Or what a lot of people do is they create a target contact list using a variety of searches, sometimes manually selecting records, load them into their target contact page, which again you access by going to dashboard and then target contacts, and then they'll use that as a call list, or have one of the reps use it as a call list. So they'll go through and start calling and emailing these individual people to prospect them. Within the target contact area, you'll see that it looks a lot like the search area. I mean, really, the main difference you'll see is the URL at the top. Of course, you can untarget all records, which if you click on that, it's going to say, are you sure you want to untarget all of these? But it will, that will basically clear out your target contact list, which is a feature that actually a lot of people like to use. But we have all the other same features. You can target the selected records. With these are already targeted, so you would actually be untargeting them. You can download. You can transfer to Sales Nexus, all from this page. You can also run searches from within your target contacts. So much like, in fact, it's identical to checking the target contacts page on the include feature on the search panel, much like checking that box, you're basically just running a search in here within your target contacts only. A very useful feature as well. But you can run any other searches that you want. You can create saved searches from within your target contacts, etc. Anything that you want to do from the search panel you can do from your target contacts. It's essentially just like a pre-packaged search of only your target contacts is really what this page is. Okay, other data management tools that are new to LeadFerret. Actually, I'll just kind of revisit some of the tools that maybe aren't new to those of you who are longtime users, but may be new to new users. So again, under Dashboard, download your spreadsheet. This probably looks very familiar to a lot of you who have used LeadFerret for a while now. This is basically an area where you can see all the records you've ever downloaded, and you can re-download them. We never charge you any additional points to download records that you've already used a point to pay for, essentially, to download. So this is all the records you've ever used a point to pay for. This is the second box and second button is all the records you've ever actually physically downloaded previously. And you may think, well, what's the difference between the two? They seem like the same thing. Well, the difference is, if you remember back to the search results, I said if you don't want to download one record at a time, but you do want to choose one record at a time for download, you can actually use this Add to CSV feature, which will add these records to your CSV file but not actually download them. And that's essentially what this area is here. So if I've gone through, say, a couple thousand search results and I've targeted, let's say, just for the sake of the number I have here, let's say I've targeted 85 records to be downloaded. Well, now I can go here. I've already used the point to download, to add these to a CSV file, but I have not actually physically downloaded them, and I can click here to use that. And a lot of people like to use this tool to basically just download the new records that they haven't already downloaded, but that they have selected for download, and use a point to purchase. But it should be pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. In fact, we actually have a more detailed tool now. So this is sort of the tool we already had, but now we have a much more detailed tool that allows you to manage your downloads on a much more granular level. And what this actually does is it actually lists all the downloads that you've ever made by date and time, gives you the number of records, and you can actually click on one of these and it will load all those records. Again, we're back to being able to see all the records that from this one particular download, and being able to go through and target or untarget them. You can, of course, re-download any of these records without being charged anything. And actually, you can re-download all of them using this little icon here. You just click on that, and it re-downloads that entire list. You can also, if you hover over these three little bars, you can actually save this list. You can name this list and save it. So of course it's saved, but right now it's just saved under a date and time. So let's say that I want to call this, Northeast Territory, marketing, something like that. I could save that, and then so it says this CSV will be labeled as Northeast Territory Marketing. Okay, great. So now you can see that particular record that's labeled as. So you can actually, every time you make a download, you can give it a name so it's easy to find at a later date. And you can say, you can label, I know a lot of people I've seen use these, they label it by their sales rep. So you could say Rob's call list, November 2013, and you could save that, and it confirms that it was saved, and now that download of those 100 records is called Rob's call list, and I can come back at any point and reload that list here, re-download it, etc. So really useful download management tools. Once you've used a point to actually pay to be able to download that data, and again, when I say pay, it means using a point. It's not always points. There's a lot of ways to get points besides purchasing them through one of our premium subscriptions. But once you've used a point to pay for those, you have this whole suite of tools now that you can manage those records as individual lists. I'm also going to show you a improved feature that we did have on the old site. And what specialty directories is we've taken a lot of very frequently searched for or requested subsets of data, and we have packaged them for you so you can search just within those directories. And some of them are built using criteria and search parameters that are not available on the site. And we can actually build for you a custom directory if you're a premium subscriber, and that's at no additional cost to your premium subscription, with very specific records just for you. So if I click on specialty directories, it's going to take me to this page, which lists all of our specialty directories. So these are basic sort of stuff that you can search for on the site, like prepackaged industry searches to a certain degree. I mean, we have things like startup companies or software as a service companies, and as well as title searches. So a lot of different titles you can search for that are prepackaged. You click on any one of these and it's going to load a prepackaged search page like this, that actually tells you a little bit about what's included in the directory, shows you the results, and of course allows you to further search within that directory as well. So a very useful tool, and again, something that I know a lot of our users like. So back to the list of different prepackaged searches that we have. You can search by device used, again, which is one of the search criteria. But we do, again, have a lot of directories that you don't have the ability to search for because we have things like LinkedIn profile information, Facebook and Twitter profile information. We're able to look for things like patent holders. So if we know, based on somebody's social media profiles, that they hold one or more patents, we've actually created a directory for them, or a directory that includes them and others that we know to hold patents, which is not something that you can search for on the regular site, but it is something that even our free users can access right here. So this is 7,000 people who hold patents in one form or another that you can target and market to and call, etc. People who blog, who who own or maintain or contribute to blogs, or what we call bloggers list, VMware professionals. This is just really a sampling of what we can do. And again, when you click on each one, it actually explains how we qualify contacts to be within that directory, and gives you a little bit of background about the industry or the title. We even have sort of what I would refer to as crossover lists, which is criteria typically associated with consumer lists. Of course, all the data within LeadFerret is business information, but records that are typically associated with consumer information, like golfers or Christians or people, martial arts enthusiasts. So it's all their business information, but we know from their social media profiles that they have an interest in martial arts or motorcycles or photography, or that they appreciate concerts and theater, or they're sports enthusiasts, or they frequently volunteer, things like that. There's even another section up here. We have people in companies that are 100 years or more old, career changes, which is people who have recently, I believe, changed jobs, Ivy League graduates, people who, Scrum Masters, if you're into technology, you might know what that is. Seasoned executives is a little different than what you might think by reading that, but it's actually people who have been at the same company for 20 plus years. Pretty rare these days, but nonetheless, we've found a significant number of them, added them to that directory. I want to quickly go over, for those of you who are using LeadFerret already and you love it, and/or you're new to it and it sounds like something that you can really use, you can get a ton of use out of LeadFerret as a free user. But if you do decide you really like it and you want more data, we do have premium options available, extremely cheap. In fact, they're ridiculously cheap. You get, and this is on our homepage, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the comparisons. You can get, our basic plan is $20 a month. You get 200 downloads and all of the features listed here. You can purchase additional records at 10 cents a record. If you want a little bit more data, you can pay $40 a month or $60 a month, and then, of course, your price per record if you purchase ad hoc information. Like we have a lot of people who will sign up for a $60 a month subscription, but then they want to purchase thousands of dollars worth of additional data. So you can do that at a lower cost per record if you have a larger subscription. There are a lot of features like the direct dials, the download first 500 or so records, or target first 500 records. Those are features that are all available to our premium users, and we will be adding more features that will be specifically available to our premium users.